AI is quickly taking over the world and is changing a lot of things in a lot of fields of life. But in this video, I want to discuss how AI and the use of AI might change art and specifically literature. So the use of AI is wildly discussed, and there's a lot of sides to it. Some people are more concerned about the environmental impact of using AI, but it's very new technology and there's still a lot to be discussed about it. You know how technology usually is advancing much quicker than our society in general. Like, there's still a lot of laws that have to be put in place, a lot of issues of copyright. There is a lot that needs to be decided and discussed. So I feel like in the future there will be more restrictions to using AI for sure. Maybe the cost of using it will rise, maybe it will drop, we'll see. But just for the sake of this video, I will not focus on the environmental impact or the issue of copyrights. Those are big questions, and it's hard to talk about AI without talking about these questions. But just to keep the video focused, I would just want to address how AI can influence art and who is going to use AI and why. So a lot of artists and writers and even people who work in Hollywood are worried about AI stealing their job, stealing their livelihood. For some cases, it might be true. Like, I feel like AI might really take over certain areas of the design field, but I don't think this will erase the human art. I don't think it's going to erase our desire to make art, and I think it's going to remain a cheap substitute for art, being literature or illustration. Now let's discuss who are the people who create art, or who are the people who are interested in creating art or writing books. There are three types. I think there are three types of people who are involved in the entertainment, creative business, okay? Number one are the people who look at art and think of it as a business, as a way to earn money. Like the producer, he makes movies to earn money, right? The same way, like people in the publishing house are publishing books to earn money. They can still like movies and books, they can still like art, but they enter this field with the intention to make money. And some people don't even like art, they still see it as a way to earn money, right? I've come across videos on YouTube that are like teaching you how to produce like coloring books and earn money out of it. So the people who produce those books, they look at the book as just a product. They create a product and they sell it. The more products they create, the more they can sell. So people who are just trying to find some income will approach AI as a tool to make products to sell. Of course, those products will always be low level, because if you want to create something new, unique, you need some creativity. AI is not going to be enough. But if you want to create a low quality content, yes, you can. And the problem is that this low quality content then floods the market. Like, books written with AI flood the market, and it makes it harder for people who have put more effort into it. If you open Amazon, you'll be bombarded with low quality books, and then how are you going to find a book written by someone who put a lot of heart in it? And you can't. Usually in the past it was publishers go and to find the best of the best and to publish them. Now publishing is also obsessed with sales and profit. Actually, this is another topic. I want to make another video about it, how greed is kind of ruining publishing. So they're not always choosing the best quality works. They sometimes choose works based on how popular the author is on TikTok, or how trendy is the tropes in the book. So we kind of, as readers, at least I feel less and less trusty. Like, I feel like less inclined to trust publishers, because I don't feel like they always pick the best books. I feel like they sometimes pick books based on how well they will sell, and they push them to the market very quickly. So the overall quality of books is dropping, and that is not the problem of AI. Like, AI is just a tool. Like, if it wasn't AI, there was, like, before AI, there were still low quality books, there was low quality content. It's just AI makes the problem bigger because it allows those people who want to make profit, it allows them to produce more. And the only way they can make profit is by producing more. But I think the more flooded the market becomes, it's just going to be impossible at one point for anyone to make money. So I guess they should have some regulation. They should have to find the good quality things, and that will be hard. But it will be needed, because you can read low quality books for a month or 2 or 3, but then you're going to feel unhealthy. How to say? It's like eating fast food every day for years. At some point you're going to feel it. You're going to feel that your hunger is not satisfied, that you're just eating junk food, and you're going to feel it. Like, even if we have this period of junk food art, it's not going to last longer than a few years, because we're going to vomit it out. We're going to reject it. I am convinced that people are intelligent enough to reject this. It's in our nature to reject this. I don't know how long it will take. Some people are rejecting it even now. They reject this slop. They don't want to see it. They don't want to go to the cinema. They don't want to buy any more books. And it's not just because they're expensive. It's because they're expensive and bad quality. So it's not worth it. So I feel like people will start to look for a better quality content at some point. But right now, the people who want to make profit, they will continue to see AI as a tool of creating slop, of creating bad literature, and just gonna flood the market. Now, there is another type of people. They stand in the middle between the producer and the creator, and those are the wannabe artists. Those are people who like the idea of being an artist, the idea of being a writer, the aesthetic of it. They want to inhabit something, but it's not that they like the process of writing or the process of drawing or the process of writing a script. They want the results. They want the likes, the fame, the aesthetic. They want to make a nice video, cozy video, writing their story. And they have no patience for the real struggle to create something. I feel like they very easily will reach for AI because they say, oh, I have an idea. I'm a creator. I wrote a prompt. No, there is some creativity in the prompt thing. There is some creativity in using AI. But if you are a real artist, I hate the word real artist, but if you are, artist is not a profession. Maybe I'm projecting here because this is how I feel as a person who writes, who likes to draw, who has always been artistic. This is not a profession. This is a need. You want to do it. No matter if there is, if you can make it a profession, great. But it's something you just want to do because you have to do it, because you enjoy the struggle of it, because you would never, if you were a real artist, you would never like anything that is not made by you. Trust me. But if you just pretend to be an artist, you like the idea of being an artist, you try to find a shortcut. And AI is the shortcut. It gives all those wannabes a way to live their dream. Now they can paint, now they can write, but it's fake. They're not real creators. I'm sorry, but they're not. But they can live their moment, they can experiment, and maybe some of them will experiment, and by experimenting, they will find actually their own voice and their own creativity, and they will grow beyond AI, which is great. Maybe that will be a stepping stone for them, because a really creative person, he will always evolve. He will use all the tools in the world, and he will create something. It comes from within them. But these people, a lot of the wannabes, will again flood the market, and they might be their intention might be a bit different from the profit guy. They might do it for personal satisfaction, just for trying to find their place in the world. but they'll be there and they'll be flooding the market as well. But I think those people will quit after a while, because if they don't really feel it, they will try it, they will live their dream, they will live their moment, and they will quit. That's the second part, like the wannabe artist. And then the third part, of course, is the real artist. Not the real art, like the person who likes the creative process. Like if he's an artist or not, I don't know, you decide. But there are people who like the creative process. And I've heard some producer, like people, business people, say, oh, who would want to struggle when the computer can write the computer can make it for you, but the computer will never make anything the way you imagine it. You can't even make something as you imagine it. I don't know if you ever tried anything creative. Like when you imagine something in your head, it's always so perfect. It's always so wow. And then you try to create it, it always sucks. You cannot draw as good as you want. You cannot write as good as you want. You can't play music as good as you want. And then the more you practice, the better you become. But every artist at some point has to accept the fact that they will never be as good as they imagine themselves to be. That's something artists struggle with, you know? So an artist will never be satisfied with an AI prompt. They will never be satisfied. Trust me. They will feel itchy. They will, like, if you're a real writer, and I don't know how to say it real, if you're a writer by heart, let's say not real, if you're a writer by heart and you have an idea and you write the prompt and the AI spills something out, first moment you'll be like, oh, it's good. And then the second moment will be like, I don't really like that. It doesn't feel right. My character wouldn't say that. You would change the fuck out of it. You will, because artists also have ego. And sometimes the artist's ego is quite big, trust me. Sometimes artists, even like writers and editors, right? Writers and editors not always agree on what should happen. Like writers even discharge the professional opinion of their editors. Why do you think they would just accept what ChatGPT says instead? Do you think a well-established author would want ChatGPT to correct him? Do you know how annoying it is to open those documents online and have the stupid suggestions pop up from everywhere? Like, do you want me to rewrite this for you? Like, no, that's the whole point. So, do you understand what I mean? The people who love to create, they will never be satisfied with ChatGPT. But there is one little danger, and that is for young authors, young writers, young illustrators. They might feel tempted to skip the hard part, you know? It's human to be tempted. It's human to want to make things easier for yourself. So if they have no experience writing, they might start with relying too much on ChatGPT. They might trust its suggestions, its opinions too much, and they might lose what makes them different, what makes them unique, what their own voice. Because young authors still don't have a voice. They very much imitate people they like or authors they like. They very much search for their voice and their story. So they can be very much influenced by AI, and they might learn to write and think the way AI suggests. And that's really, I don't think this is very good, because AI is a machine, and it as good as it is, it cannot really give you like a personal feedback. It cannot understand the nuance of certain things, and it's just going to like copy paste things, and you're going to copy paste things, and then everybody's going to be like the same. The language people are going to use will become the same. And because so much will be the same, I think we will see actually a new maybe movement in art and in the arts in general that rejects that. And I think we're going to see new styles of visual arts. I think we might see new styles of writing. We might see new formats, because I feel like people usually in this kind of environment, they really looking for their identity, and they might get into extremes just to stand out. Like some people want to fit in, but some want to stand out. And I think maybe authors and creatives and artists who have big ambition, they like to stand out. They want to make something of their own, even if it's worse than what AI can do. It's theirs, So I feel like because people have a lot of ego, a lot of desire of identity, a lot of desire to find themselves, they might reject AI, even if initially they might start to work with it. I think at some point they might reject it. But still, the those who are more insecure, who rely more on outside validation, they might fall into this black hole of discussing every line they do with ChatGPT, and it will be hard for them to build their style as an author. So I think the people who want to make profit will flood the market. They will try to use AI as much as they can to make money. But I feel like we will reject that naturally. And I think a lot of new creators will find new ways to stand out and to write and to create. And then there is, of course, ways to use AI and still be creative. Like you can use AI to make a mock-up of your cover, but then if you then just use it like exactly a mock-up, but then if you draw your own illustration, fine. Then of course comes the question, can't you just take a stock image? Why use so much resources to make something you can take? Like AI can help for research, but is it worth it? So yeah, a lot of questions come. But I feel like the real creative person will only use AI as a tool because he or she or they will feel the need to have the work they create be personal, to reflect them. So even if they start with a prompt from AI, something, they will make it their own. But people who are just there for the money, or who are just there for the image of an artist, they would not do that. They would just take the AI thing and put it into their book and feel like they will convince themselves. People are very good at bullshitting themselves. Like you can find so many reasons to justify what you do and to feel good about yourself. So a lot of people will probably justify what they do and they flood their writing with AI, and it's going to be generic. And when they see it in a few years, I don't think they will be very satisfied with it, unless they're still bullshitting it themselves, unless they're just still telling themselves that, oh, I made that. Yeah, sure you did. I'm not saying you shouldn't use AI never in your life. You decide what to do. But I just don't think that if you want to be a creative person, you should give your voice to ChatGPT. Like being creative is about being you and telling your story. I wouldn't want the ChatGPT to write my book for me, even if it's super hard. Like I've been struggling with some story for such a long time, and I honestly sometimes want to just throw it out of the window because it takes forever. And I can paste it in ChatGPT and tell him, please fix it. But it's not my story. I would not get satisfaction out of it. I would hate it. Once I gave my manuscript to a friend of mine, and she told me, you repeated this word twice, like the word beautiful. I change it with something else. And I'm like, no, don't change my words. I want to change my words. You can underline the word and tell me, I don't like this. I mean, this is repetition or something is wrong with it. But I'm the one who have to change it because you're using a word that I don't use. It feels foreign to me. It feels itchy, I can't do it. I personally cannot do it. I cannot let ChatGPT touch my writing, as bad as it is. I can't. I would love somebody to fix my grammar and typos. Absolutely. I love to look for synonyms. I like to research. I like to find like maybe a better expressions to say something. Yes, but I decide when and where to put it. And if I feel like this expression is not correct for me, I don't use it. I prefer my language to be simple and repetitive, but to be like something I've chosen. This is how I feel. So my advice for everyone who is like creative and is considering how much to use AI, like you decide, but don't let it take over your creativity, even if it's hard, even if it takes a long time. I mean, I understand people who do it for the money. Like if you have a very strict deadline and very strict schedule and you're like writing genre fiction, or you're like designer who like has to do a very big design project and he wants to generate a few flowers. Okay. I mean, People have to eat and they have to survive. I will not judge everyone, But if you're really making a creative project that means something to you, whether you're going to sell it or not, it's worth it to put the effort. It's really worth it. And I think the people who put the effort, who try to make something different, will be rewarded. And everyone else will be just in the big sea of slop. And I don't think this slop is going to take over. Like, if it stops making money, which eventually it would, because we're going to get tired of it, it's going to stop. Nobody's going to produce slop. Nobody buys, People are already leaving some websites because they're flooded. Pinterest is becoming unusable. And I just wanted to add one more thing that I forgot to say. That is, I don't feel like AI as a tool is bad or wrong. Like, it's just a tool. I feel like it's us, the way we use it, that is a bit problematic. And I feel like if AI as a technology has arrived at a better time, maybe we could have used it in a better way. But right now, it's all about profit. It's all about quick results. Everyone is in a rush for everything. And maybe that's like the worst period of time AI could have appeared, because it enables us to continue to be that greedy, that impatient, that so neurotic. Everyone is just so neurotic, so in a hurry to have everything. Nobody wants to work hard on anything. Everyone wants to have the quick results. Everyone wants to get the validation. Everyone wants to feel special. And AI helps you about that. AI, even like people are talking to ChatGPT about their personal life. They use it as a therapist. But you know what? When the digital art appeared, traditional art didn't disappear. Like, I don't think people who paint with oil and watercolors, and I don't think they're worried about AI, because their work is material, it exists, right? But it's going to hurt probably like the product designers, graphic designers. They are going to lose some of their jobs. I know it's scary, but it's just a technology. I mean, if it can save us time on certain low creativity tasks, then we can be more creative in other ways. But we have to be careful how we use it. We have to be careful because first, it gives you a very easy solutions. It always gives you solutions, even if they're not right. And it's very good at being nice. It's very good at, like, I've tested ChatGPT, and I know that it always kind of, I don't know, even if it finds criticism and it gives you advice and suggestions, it always strikes your ego. It always kind of wants to please you. And if you surround yourself with people or machines who only try to please you and make you feel good, you should be worried, okay? Because none of us is perfect. And you should, if you want to be an artist, you have to accept the pain of the process, because that's the most rewarding stuff, and you have to hear the harsh criticism, because if you have ChatGPT, maybe you don't want to give it to beta readers. Maybe you don't want to give it to your friends or to a critic, because then what you're going to do when you get the real feedback. And the real feedback will come when you publish your book. No matter how much ChatGPT tells you that this is the best thing ever written, real readers will be so rude to you. So don't trust ChatGPT. Use it in some way you feel appropriate, but again, don't rely on it. Only use it for things that are necessary, I think, like really necessary. You draw the line. I don't want to preach to people what they do with their lives. You know the environmental impact. You know the energy it uses. You know the state of the world, like you do. If you watch YouTube, I guess you watch the news. So you decide, okay? But don't give it your creativity. Just accept the hard part of creativity. Accept it. It's really rewarding. Write your own story. Even if it's not perfect, it's better than ChatGPT. Trust me. I know it can give very good suggestions. because it pulls, it steals from other people, it steals from the best. But do you want to just, I don't know, rewrite Tolkien, or do you want to write your own fantasy world? Yeah, that's what I wanted to add. I wanted to add that it's not ChatGPT. That's not the problem. We are the one who are responsible. We are the one who are using it, and we are the one who have been a little bit impatient and a little bit greedy and a little bit in a hurry too much. And we just have to slow down a bit and make sure we do something that is worth our time, and it's worth the time of others who are going to read it or look at it or whatever. But yeah, I don't think AI will destroy art, but I do feel like publishing and the entertainment industry has a big issue of greed, and I want to talk about it in another video. So I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to make another video. Let me know what you think about AI. Have you used it? What are you using it for? Do you think it's useful? And yeah, let me know your thoughts on the matter. Bye bye. See you next time.